I'm Mitch Henck, and here we go again. 50 more American soldiers, this time into Syria, to train the right rebels. Already we had the indirect training of different rebels through a program where we spent $500 million. General Austin was before the Senate, and they said, how many soldiers do we have on the ground fighting? And he said, not a big number. They said, how many? He said, 4 or 5. $500 million to train 4 or 5 soldiers. Now we're going to be on the ground with 50 of our own people to try to train them more directly. I don't pretend to know what to do in Syria. I would just say this. Before we get engaged in another long-term quagmire where we don't win, think about a book called The Best and the Brightest. Won a Pulitzer Prize in 1971 by David Halberstam about the buildup in Vietnam, how we got into that war. He talked about when Kennedy died, 75 Americans had been killed. He was holding off his generals who wanted to escalate the war earlier. LBJ then kind of put it off, the election of '64, and then it talks about those meetings in the White House, the arguments. And the hero in Halberstam's book was a guy named George Ball, who was Undersecretary of State under Dean Rusk. He said, don't do it. The French couldn't do it. It's a quagmire. It's quicksand. We can't do it. We'll get our guys killed. We'll be there for years. We'll regret it. He was overridden by Robert McNamara and George Bundy and Dean Rusk and LBJ. In 1965, July, LBJ sent 200,000 American troops into South Vietnam. When the war ended in 1975, we had lost 58,000 Americans, and we still pay the price. The wall, I've seen it, it gives you pause. It's a very solemn experience. I don't know what's going to happen in Syria, what we're doing. I would just say, I advise you to read that book, The Best and the Brightest. Maybe we can learn how not to just have happy feet, especially in a very dangerous part of the world. What we don't want is another quagmire in the middle of the Middle East. My 2 minutes, my 2 cents are brought to you by Edge Construction and Capital Consultants. Bill McCussion, a lobbyist who gets things done downtown. We can argue about this on the radio tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock on 92.1 FM The Mic, The Mitch Henck Show. Talk to you then.